Okay. This is R622, Learning Environments Design, which is the third time I'm teaching this course. It seems like every other year. 2 years ago, our guest for tonight was with us, Dr. Ron Owston from Toronto area, I think up in Newmarket, if I'm not mistaken, in
That's
the
right.
northern part of Toronto. And I've known Ron for almost exactly 27 years. And the reason I know that, it was November, just like now, November, about the 24th of November, when Dr. Linda Harrison had a party in at Simon Fraser in Vancouver, where I was spending my first sabbatical, a month of my first sabbatical approximately. And Dr. Ostin was among those invited to the get together. And Linda Harrison introduced me to people. The one person she said you definitely have to meet is Ron Owston, because you guys are very, very similar. Your interests are, and we were interested in the time of technology enhancements with writing. We were interested in blended forms of learning, although it wasn't even called blended learning back in 1998. Back in Canada,
No,
they called
no.
it mixed learning, I think. That was the coinage used at the time. And so, we've been interested in technology enhanced forms of learning for a long time, and designing learning environments. And so today is week 14. This is part one of two parts for tonight. We're going to have two guests. They're going to overlap for a bit at about 7:30 Eastern time, and we might have a little mini panel if we can, kind of this impromptu kind of thing, where we can ask them almost anything, like an Ask Me Anything, an AMA session, but related to intelligent agents and AI in general, and anything that you can think of between now and then. You've got time, or you want to post to the chat space. Dr. Ostin was one of the first people, if not the first, publishing in an AERA journal called The Educational Researcher, thinking about the uses of the web for education. And he did a follow-up article related to that as well. Very popular articles, but that's one of the ways in which I got to know Ron, is just reading that article and using it in my class many times. More recently, people would know of him if you're interested in using Zoom during the pandemic, because Contact North, a governmental arm up in Ontario, has commissioned Ron to do trainings related to the use of Zoom, basic trainings and more advanced trainings thereof. And well over 10,000 educators, it accumulated into almost MOOC-like status, have registered or downloaded aspects of the classes that he's taught there. Since doing all those, and I think he's still from time to time doing one of those, he's been asked to work on different AI initiatives for the CEO and president of Contact North, my friend Maxim Jean-Louis, who I spent time with a few months ago in Beijing. And I'm doing a report for him now on educational technology companies that Corinne might be interested in reading when I finish that report, and some of the rest of you might be as well. Well, Ron's been working really hard on these different AI initiatives, including the AI Tutor Pro and the AI Teaching Assistant Pro, as part of the AI Hub from Contact North. Do check out Contact North in their teaching and learning strand for free trainings from very well-known educators and researchers from North America in particular, usually. They offer these about every 2 weeks or so, every 3 weeks, they offer a session on different topics. Lately, they've offered a lot on AI and education. I've done 4 AI pedagogy talks for Contact North. Dr. Owston has published many of his articles in really prestigious journals that are out there, and you can see from his bio, I don't need to read all those journals, but I will say that he is among the most cited researchers in the area of blended learning. And in my blended learning handbook, he did a chapter related to what was happening in 2 different large provinces of Canada in the area of blended learning. It was one of only 2 chapters of 39 that were related to North America. The other one being University of Central Florida, which is now the second largest university in the United States. Ron's gotten funding from the government of Ontario and the Andrew Mellon Foundation, and many other organizations have commissioned him to do research. I think he did a few studies of gaming and gamification as well there from those commission studies. That's one among his many interests. Ron was the founding director of the Institute for Research in Learning Technologies at York University, which is a very pleasant, beautiful building that it's housed in, a wooden, as I remember, wooden floored building. I gave the first talk in that building in 2003, so we have been connecting for a long time. Um, I probably could go on about different ways which we do connect. By the way, if you want his chapter on blended learning in Canada, although my book is old at 2006, it is still probably relevant in terms of the models and ideas discussed in that chapter, as well as the rest of the book. Um, Ron is also a university professor. That means he's the top 1% of York University, where he was the dean at York University before he retired a few years ago and now works in different research projects and much of it related to Contact North, but others as well. So, Ron, did I leave anything important out of that?
You've reminded me of some things I've forgotten myself.
You maybe want to forget about.
Yeah, the Zoom sessions, of course, I did everything you said, but I'd kind of forgotten. And I guess it's kind of hard to imagine right now that people were clamoring for ideas about how you can use Zoom, and when everyone moved online with, of course, with the pandemic. And so, yeah, they were, that was fun. It was pioneering work. No one had really thought about how you could use Zoom for teaching, like the pedagogical techniques you might use and so on. And so, yeah, they became a big hit. And they're still available, but probably still relevant too. But so anyway, yeah, covered a lot of territory. I had a chance to witness the very first days of the web when it was first launched. I believe it was in 1994, the Lillehammer Olympics, Winter Olympics, and that was my first glimpse of the web. And I've been using the internet before. Of course, the internet was just really formed not many years before that as the internet as such, but there's another network called BitNet, which got transformed into what we know as the internet. So being through that early days, exciting time, and now this time with AI, equally as exciting and as transformative. So absolutely incredible opportunity I've had with working with technology. So it's
I'm going
been
to ask,
exciting. It's really, yeah,
and I did pass on your article from EDUCAUSE, Personalized AI Tutoring as a Social
right.
Activity,
Yeah.
Paradox, or Possibility, which I was just sent yesterday. I will ask Rani if she's okay with being a co-host in case I get
Yeah.
disconnected. If you're going to be here the whole time, Rani.
Yes.
Um, well, thank you. And I'll mention
Sure.
Ron. Corinne is from Toronto, so you'll have a little
Oh,
connection.
good.
But in
Yeah,
there,
good.
she is an entrepreneur who's developed two tools, one called Critic, and the second one is called, Corinne,
Visible AI.
Visible AI. That's right. Visible. So
Okay.
she has two different um, tools that she's been working on and testing and researching and marketing and all the other kinds of things. And she's a
Hmm.
student in our EDD program, our education doctorate program.
Yeah, good,
Uh, so,
good.
Nice to meet you. Critic is a
Yeah, pleasure.
peer-to-peer learning platform where students learn with their peers, and AI is there to, assist in different manner. And Visible AI is an editor where we can track how AI has been used, and the professor can assist in um,
Mhm.
prompt engineering as well as looking at the final outcome if the students has increased the quality of the creation using AI or not.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, yeah. Not a, no, it's not AI detection. It's not a
No, not at
detection.
all.
No,
Not at
no,
all.
no, no.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Oh,
so Ron,
yeah.
you want to tell us a bit about how you got involved with Contact
Well,
North
yeah.
and what led you into these developing the two tools? Now I heard there's four tools. There's a career builder tool as
Yeah, we
well.
have four
There's
actually.
four
Yeah.
AI tools. So you want to
Yeah.
tell us what those four are, and then I guess you might give us a demonstration of those
Yeah,
as
sure.
well.
Yeah. So gee, it's hard to believe it doesn't that long ago ChatGPT came out. It was what, December
It's 3 years
23?
ago. Yeah,
23 December.
22,
Um,
20 in November of 22.
Two, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been
Okay.
3 years. It's been
Yeah,
three.
three, yeah. So now, yeah, right. And so then shortly after, well, December, it sort of started getting known and started looking at it. And then in the new year, then in 23, yeah, 23, yeah, right, yeah, 23, early 23, then Maxime Jean-Louis, as you mentioned, the director of Contact North, he asked me to see what we can do to make use of AI, this new thing, the large language models, and how it can help students learn, how it can help faculty teach, and so on. And so I came up with a prototype just within a few weeks, actually, of what I thought maybe it could do. And first was a very rudimentary app about study skills, improving online study skills. That because Contact North focuses on online learning and helping students get access to learning online. So that was one of the first little apps, and then it was successful. A good uptake, very elementary for today's standards. Things have changed so much, and then I said, well, we should look at a tutor. And so we came up with the idea of what we're calling still AI Tutor Pro. It was launched then in it would be 23 November, so 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years
Yeah.
ago. That's right. We
With this
launched it.
course, you kind
Yeah,
of announced it in this course 2 years
that's
ago.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then sort of more to the world, if you want. I presented at the uh, what was it? The ICDE International Conference on Distance Education. It was in Costa Rica. And I kind of launched that in November of 23 then. And we've had phenomenal uptake. It's been great. It's a free tool, by the way. Everyone should realize that. It's a free, totally open tool, not open source, but open, freely available, and can be used by anybody, anywhere. And at the time, I remember people were saying, how can you guys ever afford something like that? It's so free. Well, AI has become like a utility, and the cost has just gone down so rapidly, and it costs us basically next to nothing to access ChatGPT, which is the engine of the tool. It's remarkable, and it's going down as new features roll in. It pushes the price down of other features, and so it's something that we can sustain. But people thought, "Oh, how are you guys going to go more than a few months using this tool? It costs so much." But it did at first, but we were able to manage that, and now it's not no longer an issue for us actually. So then after that, well, once we got that tool going, I led the development of another one called AI Teaching Assistant Pro, which is faculty oriented, whereas the tutor is student oriented. Teaching Assistant is faculty oriented. And it does things like allows faculty to create a syllabus and multiple choice exams, which is still a popular tool, and essay exams and PowerPoint slides and a couple of other unique features, which I'll tell you about when I actually get to demoing it. So quite fascinating work, and then I guess about a year ago, I guess we launched two other tools again aimed at students. Um, one called AI Pathfinder Pro, which is a tool really aimed for more for Canadian students about higher education opportunities. A chatbot, essentially. Students could ask questions about, okay, I want to be an accountant. I'm in grade 12 right now, finishing high school. What should I do? What courses do I want to take, and what programs would be interesting for me, given my background, and so on and so forth. And then the other one is very specific for Ontario. The Ontario government, like many governments now, are really focusing on the skilled trades and getting students moving into the trades because we all know there's a real shortage of skilled trades. And so government's putting a big push on that. So we developed this app, AI Trades Explorer, and that specifically will help students learn about how to become a tradesperson, skilled trades, electrician, plumber, and so on. And what was really eye-opening to me is how onerous it is to become a fully the qualified tradesperson. In Ontario, it's called a red seal. That's the sort of official status once you're a formerly electrician, like to the order of something like 6 to 7 thousand hours of study and apprenticeship. So very, very demanding, actually.
Yeah, we
So
have a student, Bill Ball, in our EDD who's in the trades area, helping do the training arm, and he's doing a dissertation on that. And
yeah,
I gave his talk to all his managers a few years back, and yeah, I was unbelievable how much training is involved in that.
yeah.
Involved.
So when the plumber charges $100 an hour or the electrician 120, you know why. So so, yeah. I mean, not necessarily every person on a job is going to be a skilled, certified tradesperson, but there has to be ideally, I guess, one in charge who's overseeing the project. So anyway, so we got into those two apps, which haven't had quite the same level of uptake because they're very specialized. And quite truthfully, we haven't really promoted them in the same way we've done AI Tutor Pro and Teaching Assistant. The the tutors, well, it's if I looked on Google Analytics right now, I could probably find at least a half a dozen, 10 people using it around the world, literally around the world right now. And we've had about 2.5 billion interactions at this point since its launch just over 2 years ago then. So it's really coming along. So with that, I can give a demo. I'd be happy to give a demo, but I'll just see if anyone has any comments or questions
Yeah, and see
about
if
it.
people have a question. And can you mention also Florida and what they're doing, Ron,
Oh,
in
okay,
adopting
yeah,
it?
yeah. We haven't really talked about it too much or publicized it too much, but we have an agreement with University of Florida, which is Research One University, of course, and they have the largest supercomputer in for a university, probably in the US for sure, probably in the world. I'm not absolutely certain, but in the US for sure, largest supercomputer. They've been in a fortunate situation where the vice president of NVIDIA is an alum, and so they've had the latest Blackwell chips donated, a huge installation, which I've visited actually. So they're really an AI forward university, I guess you could say. They've got a very strong focus on AI. Everywhere they've hired 100 faculty over the last short while with a focus on AI in whatever discipline their specialty is. So it's been really a strong focus. So we happened to cross
And they're
paths.
also the largest ed tech program in the country now. So
Oh, is that right? I didn't realize that. So they're
they're
ahead
growing their ed tech program. Yeah, oh yeah.
of Florida State used to be, right?
Yeah, not Florida State anymore. It's the University of
No.
Florida. They're the
Okay.
flagship of the state of Florida now. They were designated that. So
Absolutely.
Florida's
Yeah.
getting all the money.
Yeah, that's right. They are. Yeah, yeah. So we crossed paths. The assistant CIO at the EDUCAUSE conference, higher education conference, just a year ago, and talked. Didn't really pay too much attention. Didn't exchange cards or anything. All of a sudden, I got a call from her saying, "Hey, can we talk some more?" And I want my CIO to look at what you're doing and so on and so forth. And one thing led to another. And we reached an agreement where they're actually white labeling AI Tutor Pro. In other words, they're using our engine and putting their own branding on it. It's called Navigator AI Tutor.
Get
And
it, everyone? Navigators. They're the gators in
yeah, the
Florida.
Gator,
Alligators. So,
Navigator AI
so
Tutor.
Garen has
Yeah.
a question for you, Ron. Garen.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah.
I this I'll try and be quick. Um, I just noticed something in our university, and that is it. And this goes back to, and we've had lots of speakers in the class. And we haven't
Hmm.
had a lot of discussion about ethical considerations in how
Hmm.
we're applying and using and pushing and
Hmm.
promoting generative AI and other AI tools. What happened was, I'll be really brief, research methods class. They're discussing research topics, research studies. Half the class has dropped. And when reviewing, and just recently, with and about half the class has dropped. Some are starting to withdraw from discussions, and the reason being is there are a few students that are utilizing generative AI and AI to improve their writing, sound real formal, sound really great, and others that are have lower efficacy with generative AI or choose not to use it feel dumb. They're reporting feeling inadequate in these discussions. And so what the concern I have, and maybe and just I bring this up because of the length of time you've been working with AI and these topics, is as we promote it and drive the costs down, universities will, when it costs a lot, we want to investigate it, make sure it's really going to work and understand all the ins and outs of it because we're not going to invest the money. But when we drive it like it's a loaner car that someone else pays for, then what we're doing is we're driving up the way we're using it without having the AI, the systematic approach to AI literacy. And I'm just wondering what you and how you might suggest do we handle that? It's being brushed under. We're not talking about it. We're blowing past it. So
Yeah.
I'll thank you.
Yeah. Okay. No, Garrett. Yeah. Yeah. No. Great points. It is being talked about in the right circles, but maybe not big circles. But people are definitely raising issues, concerns. But the problem is that the field is advancing so rapidly, it's becoming so ubiquitous that those discussions can't keep pace. That's really what's happening now. In a particular course such as yours, that's really disappointing. And I don't want to point fingers, but I would fault the instructor to some extent for not really setting some guidelines for the class in terms of what's permissible, what's not permissible. And if the instructor is just saying or not saying anything about its use, that's kind of disappointing. And I would never recommend that. There has to be some guidance on what's
There is
acceptable.
guidance. They're using it appropriately. But the idea is that we can't assume that all students have the same level of competency and confidence in using generative AI. So when we have students that sound almost like graduate students because they take their ideas and they get them tailored based on the recommendations of things, like LexiBot or something. And so now it comes out and it sounds so smart, and these other students are struggling. And
Mm.
now some of the effort of that instructor is on addressing this extraneous issue, the extraneous, as opposed to actually teaching. And we've driven that by saying, here's the appropriate ways to use it, but we've increased the disparity, and we're trying to close those gaps.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess there's no question AI is a new literacy skill that everyone's got to learn now, and we are going to have students who are going to struggle, unfortunately, and there has to be efforts like to help those kinds of students who are struggling with that. I mean, there's definitely has got to be support for them, and is it some maybe classes at the particular university or college as well? And I noticed the K-12 as well, that falls more on the classroom teacher who may not have the basic skills themselves, unfortunately. Nor would the faculty member at a college or university necessarily have the skills. So there has to be support for them. It's becoming quite transparent more and more. That's one thing. We often are not knowing when we're reading AI writing. That's another thing and I just ran across a fascinating uh, article. It's actually a Wikipedia posting on their guidance to Wikipedia editors about AI writing, and it was a real deep analysis of patterns that AI produces, and a lot of common words you all are familiar with. Delve into. We'll take a deep dive into this, and so on. And the use of the M dash, for instance, these are sort of telltale signs. But it's a very deep dive into the whole thing, and it's really fascinating. I wish I had the link in front of me here, but I don't have it. I could find it probably quite easily. So so it's really ubiquitous, and it's just I don't know what we're going to do. It's just a basic literacy that students have got to pick up now, and there's going to be suffering in the meantime, but there is discussion about it. There is definitely discussion about it,
Thank you.
and yeah.
And there are different aspects of ethics. And Garen, if you're in my 511 class, my other class, which Ricardo's in, he's here tonight. The last week was devoted to ethics in that class. And I'd be happy to let you into the discussion forum in that class or send you the articles that we read last week. But the articles for ethics were articles that I've been using for most of them, but I've been using it for the past 5 years, well before AI even became an issue. So the article is about
Okay.
the field in general and ethics, the discussion moved into AI ethics. Someone has shown up here from New Zealand, Elaine Coe. Ron, I think you might know Elaine Coe.
Lane,
Yeah,
sure.
Elaine,
Not
you
sure.
Ron,
have you met
nice to
Ron?
meet you. No, I don't think we
I
have.
Okay,
don't think
okay.
so.
Okay,
No.
we did the Tech Variety book together, Ron. The Adding Tech
Right.
Variety,
Okay.
my motivation book. That's Elaine there. You know
Yeah,
the
I
book.
remember Elaine's name,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Oh, by the way, Paula did post that link there, which is really, it's a very long, detailed article. It's fascinating to read it. Yeah. One thing that really it's a follow-up, I think, Garen, as well, since we're on the topic of ethics, what we do with AI Tutor Pro. Um, we do run a scan. We keep records not of who asked what question, what topic, but we know certain topics were asked. We have a complete log file of everything that was discussed using AI Tutor Pro, and we run an analysis of that periodically, looking for signs of bias and discrimination in not only the language, but the way it might refer to certain individuals and so on. And we found it very, very good when it might flag something. We'll look into it carefully and find out, well, no, I guess that was just really nothing. Uh, it was talking about sex, but that was in biology, a topic within biology, so, as an example. So it would, and also since ChatGPT does have filters in, which they didn't up until very recently, about self-harm and so on. So if a student types a question in, how do I commit suicide, as an example, it's going to refer that student to professional. It won't attempt to answer that question or give guidance on that, or tutoring for that matter. Yeah, so we are aware of that for sure, but there is the literacy angle as well. We know that, and that's going to be a struggle. Using something like our tutor as an example requires very little in terms of AI literacy. Certainly, it's just a case of really following what the question and answer with the tutor. So anyway, I'm happy to answer any other points that may have come up. The calculator, um, it's is often used as an analogy. It's AI is more transformative than the calculator. Things pretty well went on the same way, except math was done on a calculator, but AI is affecting our thinking, our creativity. It's affecting so much. So we let's see if other points were mentioned here. Yeah, okay, yeah. So
There's a whole issue of
yeah,
the Chronicle of Higher Education, Ron, that I was reading this afternoon, how AI is transforming higher education, just what you're saying. And every
yeah,
article gets at, is it affecting our creativity in a positive or negative way? But also the New Yorker, the last 2 weeks of the New Yorker had articles information overload and open mind, which really get at the impact of AI in society. So it's wherever you go, these articles, it's hard keeping up with the writing anyhow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And it is going to change things. How we assess it's definitely changing that. We haven't figured it out how to assess students now anymore. It's all up in the air. Um, we can revert back to the traditional exams, formal exams, in exam rooms in an auditorium or whatever. That's one way some have done that. Boy, it's a real challenge, and there's no answers. There's no answers. People are trying ideas, and we'll see what will sort out. But I have confidence that things will sort out. But definitely, our thinking is going to be changing, the way our thought patterns, the way the skills that we need, and so on will change dramatically over time. So, very significant shift.
So
So, yeah.
why don't you
Uh,
show one of those two? Which one you want to show first?
well, I'll do AI Tutor Pro, I think, first, since I have mentioned that. I'm going to share my whole desktop here. Um, I'll- and yeah, okay. This is since Kurt, your course is sort of designing learning environments. I think we'll talk about sort of the design of the tutor as well. But just to give you a basic idea, well, first of all, it works in up to 30 different languages. You have your choice of language. The interface is either English or French. However, the text can be in whatever one of 30 different languages. When you visit our page, aitutorpro.ca, always check out our latest updates as well and see what's new about the tool. We have an introductory video here explaining just the welcome video, AI generated, of course. And we have three basic tools here now. The newest is Discuss My Knowledge and Skills. But okay, I'll tell you sort of the thinking, the design behind these. So check my knowledge. The idea there is to when a student has studied a particular skill, or attended a lecture, read a chapter, read an article, whatever, and they want to reinforce their learning, research has shown that the best way to reinforce learning is through repeated self-assessment. It's not just sitting down and reading over and over what you've studied. It's through reading, self-assessing, reading, self-assessing, and that's pretty well clear finding from the research. And so the check tool does exactly that. So we'd recommend using this. And we probably could do a better job at pointing out the uses of these three tools. The check tool then is for reinforcing, remembering what you've learned. So we'll put in any topic that we might want. And come to this page here, you have the option entering your topic. It's not like a chat bot where you're going to enter a question. No, you can enter a question, but it'll actually turn that into a subject, a topic. But so you enter your topic here, and it's going to then ask you about that topic, and with the goal of trying to reinforce your learning. A few pop-ups came there, but I won't use those. Oh, okay. There's something that's uh, I've just heard in the news about a polar vortex coming to northeastern US and Canada. Polar vortex, that's a term that's come into the language, the weather forecasting a few days. So let's type in polar vortex. Yeah, okay. And see what we know about that. We have the choice here of our languages. There's our different languages. And and then learning level, it's just really a case of the language, whether it's sort of a simplistic or more basic language, or typical undergraduate, or more professional level. We won't go to that. We'll keep it pretty basic because I don't know much about uh, um, meteorology here. So I'll hit that, and it begins right away to generate our first question about the polar vortexes. And so now we have to sort of answer that. I'm sorry, I just need okay, how does it influence the weather patterns? Okay, there we are. Okay, well, all I know is it produces cold weather. Okay, but it's not correct. Okay, well, this is a pretty simple answer. Think about the polar vortex, a large area of low pressure and cold air surrounding Earth's poles. Consider how it can affect the movement of cold air masses. Well, I know that there's circular uh, air masses. Okay, it's a vortex after all. Good start, but not quite complete. Okay, think how it can weaken, shift, allow cold air to move south into mid-latitudes. Okay. It pushes south as an example. Oops, am I typing here? South and produces cold weather. Okay, that's right. Okay, I got that. Okay. What are some potential impacts of a weakened polar vortex on regions outside the Arctic? Uh, produce snow? I don't know. And okay, okay. So now that's all right. So now we can do things like give me a hint. Sure. Okay. And it goes on, and can you try answering again? I'll say no. Give me the answer, and so on. So okay. And it goes on to the next question. Say we don't like that question, we can ask another question, and so on. So I don't want to go into a lot of use here of it, but we'll click done here. And what happens next is there's a table generated of the questions that were asked, the correct answer, and the answer I gave. Gee, I didn't do very well. And it said arbitrary. You got 5 for a partial answer, 10 for a correct answer. And so I didn't do very well at all. Anyway, you can copy this. You can do a complete copy of the transcript. Say you wanted the whole transcript. Yeah, or if you wanted just to copy the table, you can copy it here. You can actually post it as well, this table, to social media, Facebook, X, and LinkedIn. But what you'll be interested in seeing is this tool here, Help Me Improve. And what this allows you to do is to have emailed to you sort of a summary of your session. Now, this is a pretty poor session. And you get recommendations about further, where you first summary of what your strengths were and answering what your weaknesses were, and links to video and links to text about the various topics to help you improve. So kind of an interesting tool here, and that should be in my inbox pretty quickly, I would think. Yeah, there it is already. I might as well just leave it up here, and I'll just bring it over here. It's not going to be very meaningful given that I didn't do very well on it, and it just did a quick one. So areas to improve, helpful, summarize where I was, areas to improve, polar vortex explain, links to video, and text as well. Say a video about polar vortexes, and here it is here, like YouTube video, and oops, and oh, I'm sorry, I lost the text. It's down here, back in my mail. Yeah, here it is here. And links to text explanation as well. Okay, so that's basically how that tutor works. Now, I didn't do very well, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to try the Grow tool. Now, the design idea here is it's a Socratic tutor. It it attempts to start where you are, ask you questions about what you're understanding, and tries to build on that through Socratic questioning, a long proven method of learning. So I'll just do it. I'll just try it again and just give you show an idea of how it differs from the check tool. And I'll click on Start. I've got again choices of difficulty of the topic and and difficulty of the language. I'll leave it as the defaults here. And okay, what do you already know about the polar vortex? So you see, it's quite a bit different here. It doesn't assume you know anything really, that maybe you know a little bit, but nothing too significant. Okay, I think of cold weather. That's when I hear that term. And it goes on from here. That's a great starting point. Cold weather is definitely associated with it. So you can see there is a difference of how it works. And what do you think happens in the atmosphere that could lead to colder temperatures? Can you think of why it's linked to cold weather and so on? So, so we can carry on there, but I don't think I'll do that. I'll just click done. And
So it's
so
almost like a
that,
teacher as moderator or
yeah,
facilitator, right?
that's true. That's a good way of putting it then. Yeah, Kurt, yeah. The most exciting tool, I think, now is our Discuss tool. And the version that you're going to, if you click on this here, doesn't work as well as the one we're going to be releasing this week. So I'm not going to show you this version. I'm going to show you our latest test version. And oops, I had this topic of tariffs and trades here. I wonder, oh, I'll do it again. Yeah, okay, I was just testing it before. I'll reload.
Lo and behold, the topic of tariffs, because
Yeah.
someone coming from Canada, where plane flights to the U.S. are banned right now, right? Or
Oops. Oh, I had an error. I guess the it's being worked on right now, so I can't show you the test version, but I'll show you the other version. And yeah, tariffs and trades. Okay, I'll try it once more just to see. No, I think yeah, it's a test link only. So,
okay.
and I'm not going to be able to use it. Okay, so I'll use the version that we have right now. Okay, but the test link works so much better than. But we'll try this one here. Okay, we're going to go that. Yeah. So discuss my knowledge and skill, tariffs and trades. You have your choice of different voices. We'll keep with it default, or no, not Alloy. I guess keep well, Sage. We'll keep that. Um, and it's an interactive tutor. You can talk back and forth with it. And I'm going to just, as I'm answering, I won't be able to add too much commentary unless I put pause because the tutor's going to pick up what I say. So where this is really helpful is those who are more auditory learners, you could say, or who just want that reinforcement. It's great for math when entering symbols or math, chemistry, the STEM subjects, entering symbols into a keyboard is kind of awkward. So we'll show the first version without the transcription. Okay, tariffs and trades, and we'll try it here.
Hi, I'm Sage. Excited to explore trade and tariffs with you. Would you say you're a
I'm
beginner?
a beginner.
Great, nice to meet you. Let's start with a question. What do you think a tariff is?
It's a surcharge a country puts on its exports, or imports.
I see a small mix up. It's often described as a tax a country places on imports, not exports. Here's a hint. Think about which side, imports or exports, does the country want to discourage with extra costs?
It wants to discourage imports.
Exactly. A tariff is a tax on imports. Would you like to try explaining it in your own words now?
No, it's okay. Help me more.
Sure thing. Let me give you a partial step. A tariff is a tax on what a country buys from other countries. Now, can you try again? Focus on.
Okay, sure.
Great job today. We've learned that a tariff is a tax a country imposes on imports to reduce.
So I just cut it off there. I didn't. So what you may have noticed here in that is that I was able to interrupt the tutor and carry on sort of a back and forth dialogue as though it were actually a real tutor. Now we'll do the transcript version of it, and it would and so you can see the written text and keep a copy of it.
Hi, I'm Sage. Excited to explore
I'm a
trade.
beginner.
Hi, I'm Sage. Let's build your understanding step by step. Here's a question. What do you think is the main goal of trade between countries?
Well, I don't know, really. It's to exchange goods and services.
All right, good try. Here's a gentle nudge. Trade often aims to improve efficiency and benefit both parties. Can you build on that idea?
Sure, okay. Give me some more information about it.
All right, gentle nudge. Countries trade because they have different resources or specialties. Now, can you think of an example of a resource or specialty a country might have?
Oh, a country would have maybe natural resources it would want to export.
Good point. Countries often trade to exchange resources. Hint, why might a country import goods it doesn't produce well?
Oh, I don't know. Tell me.
Sure thing. Countries often export goods where they have a comparative advantage. Would you like a hint on what comparative advantage?
Okay, so anyway, you get sort of the gist of how you can interact with the tutor. And this, as I said, this version doesn't work as well as the other ones that doesn't work at all right now. But the other one that we'll be launching this week is much better. I'll just try it once more just in case it does.
So you're saying this is pretty cool. So you're saying it's getting even better.
Yeah, it's
This is
actually better.
this is
Okay, no,
option
it's
3, right? So
yeah, that's right. The discuss. Yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah. So
So that
so
rose to
anyway,
Randy's question before you show this. Randy,
yeah.
why
Yeah,
don't you pose your question?
yeah. I just wondering whether it is okay that I interact with the AI Tutor Pro by videos. Like, can they see me or recognize my face or
Oh, absolutely not. No, 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 absolutely not. No, and nor does it record your voice either. Um, as we said, it's no personal data required, secure, anonymous. Yeah, you can read actually our privacy policy down here. Nothing is retained there except the actual transcript of what was discussed, but there's no identification information on it. We have no idea who asked it. So I can go to our log files right now and see that there was a question asked about the polar vortex, but no idea who asked that. So it is
um
totally,
yeah,
yeah, confidential.
I see. So do you think that it would be very difficult in the future if we developed the video with the video functions because of the data privacy? Like,
Yeah,
eh,
well, we could certainly develop the video interactive video, like say a video tutor, and not retain the actual file, the result of that. Yeah, it's certainly possible. Or it can be one-way video. The tutor doesn't need to see you. It's artificial, so the tutor certainly doesn't need to see you. You would want to see the tutor. In fact, this tool we're using here, Synthesia.
Welcome to AI Tutor Pro, your personal learning
Oh,
tool.
you're using
I'm
Synthesia.
Natalie,
Okay.
AI
Yeah.
instructional team leader, and I can help you.
Do you have to pay for the use of that?
Yeah, we have to pay for that, and that's
Okay.
what we call our learning shorts, which I'll demonstrate in a minute.
So you
But
have a license for it?
yeah, we got a good deal with them for that. Yeah, it's a fabulous tool, and this tool now can work in an interactive mode, so we could have that kind of back and forth as well, but we haven't implemented
That
that.
that's valuable knowledge. I find that really intriguing.
Yeah.
Paul has got a simple question. Arpita's got a more complicated and really important question. Hers was first, but Paul, let's do the simple one. Paula?
Hi, yeah. So does the AI Tutor Pro produce summary highlights that you can email to the learner? Like this is what you learned from it so that they can have it as a
Yeah, that
documented?
was yes, absolutely. Yes, that's what I called the agent there. Remember the table at the end of the session? That can be emailed to you. It's this email that I brought up here with that summary of the session and this one here. So,
So even for the Socratic one, for the discussions, this is
oh, not the
available as well.
Socratic. No, I'm sorry, not the Socratic. Only the check
Yeah.
tool. Yeah.
All right, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You can copy the transcript of the session. Oh, that's another possibility.
fair. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Paula was a guest early in the semester talking about micro-credentials just a couple weeks ago. That was her
Oh, yeah.
dissertation
Okay.
topic. She's
Yeah.
down in Trinidad, but she did live in Canada for a while,
Oh, yeah.
right? Paula? Where in
Yes.
Canada were you?
St. John, New Brunswick.
Okay, yeah,
Working
Yeah.
good.
for
New Brunswick Community College, instructional designer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sure. Sure. Yeah.
how many years were you there?
4 years. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I began my university teaching at the University of New Brunswick in Fredericton, so
Oh,
know
okay.
the area
Familiar.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 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 So the other tool is our
Before you go to the other tool, Arpita.
yeah.
Arpita
I'm
has a
sorry. Yeah.
question.
Sure.
Arpita, you're muted.
Hi, Dr. Austin. And my question is, as a user, it feels really safe when I see that no personal information is needed. But as a creator of this tool, how are you analyzing the learner engagement? What topics are they searching? And how do you know whether this tool is actually working or not? How are you analyzing the trends? So, if you can share some thoughts about it.
Right. Good question because I'm not sure. Kurt, did you circulate I'm not sure if you
Your
circulated
your
the
poster
article,
session?
the EDUCAUSE session?
Yeah, they got that too.
Okay, that actually answers the question more directly. I don't have the link handy, but conference, uh, conference. So I'll just type in my name here. That should come up pretty quickly, I hope. No, I don't want that. Agenda. Yeah, show the result with my name. And this is probably the quickest way to find it, I think. And it's this session here where we actually did an analysis of our data. And so we're looking at log files, and in this particular case, we analyzed our log files, 120,000 interactions. And we analyzed them to see what was working, what topics were being asked, first of all. So first of all, I'll go over to the right where some of the key features we learned that. So we found out that the check tool here was by far the most widely used. OpenStax, I haven't explained that yet, but OpenStax will restrict a tutoring session only to content from the 75 or so books in the OpenStax collection, which is, I'd say, the best quality OpenStax, oh, sorry, open content, OER collection available, professionally edited, peer-reviewed, and so on.
And that's from
Uh,
Rice University down in Texas.
Rice,
And it
exactly.
is high quality. OpenStax, it started with high school books and now has introductory university course books as well.
Yeah.
And the guy named Richard Bernick was the founder of that or the creator of
Hmm.
that. And he's done many such things. Yeah, definitely check out OpenStax. If you're taking my spring course, we'll talk about open education and OpenStax in the spring
Hmm.
on immersive
Yeah, yeah,
technologies. So
yeah.
now
So
I didn't share this with everyone. I don't know if I got this from you, Ron,
no,
but maybe you
I'm not.
sent it. So if you
Yeah,
could
I
resend
could
it
put.
to me, I can forward it to.
Yeah, I'll put the link here. It's easiest to
Okay.
put the link
Yeah.
in, I think, rather than yeah, in the chat here. Yeah, the PDF. So
Okay.
anyway, so OpenStax was actually we put a lot of effort into getting the tutor to work with only OpenStax content, but we found it wasn't used as often. Grow had a wide range of usage in terms of different subjects. Um, Czech used most in sort of public health. We did an analysis of what subjects they used. I'm not sure how well you can see this here in terms of uh, the academic subjects. Across here, we've got interdisciplinary studies, public health, math, computer science, and so on. So we looked at sort of the different tools which were used most often and sort of general interdisciplinary. The GROW was used more and so on. And then we did an analysis of sessions, like the length of sessions, average time, and we had some pretty good engagement figures. And these So we found like with the check and grow um, the 17 minutes. We had 17 minutes for the check tool and 6 minutes on average for the grow tool as well. So pretty good engagement. But I mean, a lot of variation, big range, big variation. But we had like this counts of people who just clicked on it once and didn't even stay on the page. So now there's almost zero to those who really dug in and spent a lot of time on using the tool. So we did do an analysis of it, and we're going to continue to do analysis of it. And so over a year, it's very hard analyzing data this size. Believe me, we had a spreadsheet of 5.5 gigs, I think it was. Try to load that. You can't. You can't open it. So anyway, yeah. So okay. Garen, you're asking about referring to users who might use the check to drop in the problem and force an answer from AI. It doesn't really work that way. You can't
I
really.
just the reason I asked that is I was
Yeah.
just doing it and I
Mhm.
forced it to answer my question about slope. It
Yeah.
actually answered it for me. And then gave me
Yeah.
another question. Now, it took me some time to force it to do that.
Yeah.
I test things to break them. So basically,
Yeah.
when we
Yeah.
test
Of
new
course.
stuff, we shake it down. And so I'm
Yeah.
just wondering if any of those, how many of those you can manipulate. And this is what I work with at the university, I work with people about their assignments. They say, "Oh, I've got a AI proof assignment." And I take it and I show them how I can generate the answer and stuff, and how we can continually manipulate the model to get us to answer the question for us.
Yeah.
Unless we feed into a custom model, which I've done, that says only answer blue no matter what I say. And I couldn't get it to do anything other than blue, but that locks it up too tight.
Yeah. The check tool, after two incorrect answers, it'll give you the answer. The the grow tool, it will, after about 5 times, I think it might. If you tell you, really, really, I want the answer, it'll give it to you. So yeah, we don't want to
Yeah,
lock it up completely. But
yeah.
the grow tool is the hardest one to sort of break in a sense. But fine, if you know enough to be able to break it, well, then you probably know your subject pretty well.
Yeah, yeah. The reason I
Yeah,
ask is
yeah.
I'm working on an asynchronous design for vicarious failure, and so I haven't ventured into using the AI yet because it's a little bit more complex than this prototyping, which I'm doing as part of this class anyway, Dr. Bonk. But
Oh, okay.
um,
Good. Great.
so it's just realizing that, how do you force it to keep producing the wrong answer. And that way it can fail. It intentionally
Mhm.
fails no matter how much you guide it. So I just was wondering what you might be doing and how you might have checked it or anything. So thanks.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, I found, I really should say, no matter what instructions you give it, it's just by nature, the whole design of large language models, it's probably going to eventually ignore those instructions. Unfortunately, that's the reality. That's yeah. Um, but I'm going to well, I tell you a little bit about what we're planning on doing. So one of the issues is hallucinations, of course. Here's OpenStax, but as an example here, linear equations I'll put in, and I'll take that from the OpenStax math collection. And the answers, we know where the answers are coming from in this particular case here. And okay, solve that equation. So I'll say the answer is 4, let's say. And we'll, okay, that's correct. Nice work. The solution is x equals 4. But this is what I wanted you to see here. Um, it refers to the once we get rid of this, it refers to the OpenStax textbook, Elementary Algebra, second edition, where it talks about linear equations. So you have the source of where it's trained on the OpenStax collection, so you have the source of where the answer is coming from, which is something you don't get in, well, actually, I don't know any system, any AI tutor system that has this capability. And what we're integrating next and hope to have it before the holidays, uh, what we're calling verified answers. And the answers for math, anyway, verified, they're going to come from Wolfram Alpha. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with Wolfram.
Oh,
You know, it's been around quite a while with Mathematica.
the guy that called himself the next Einstein.
That's right. Incredible, incredible.
And Garen is a math person, so he had a thumbs up on that. And Pooja
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
math person too, so
yeah,
she's winking at me here. So
yeah.
we've got some
Yeah,
math people
Wolfram Alpha
who thank us.
is a very comprehensive database. And so when an answer comes up, we're going to be checking it with Wolfram and before it displays on the screen, so we'll know it's right because
Stephen Wolfram,
that's
University
right.
Illinois guy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He's still active. He's still active.
I think so, though he's
Yeah, no,
yeah.
he is. Actually, I was talking to, well, at EDUCAUSE this year, the Wolfram people, and they said, oh, yeah, yeah, he's still active. He's still writing and so on. We're working on, so it's Mathematica is his basic tool that he started with, and he's gone into AI as well. So that's what, anyway, that's what we're using to verify that. Okay.
So you want to
And
show us the other tool?
yeah, I was just going to say we
And then
moved to
what we'll
that.
probably do, Ron, maybe we can go to 7:25 or so with
Okay, sure.
Q&A and that demo, and then we'll take a 5-minute break
Yeah,
before Ray gets here, and then we'll do a little panel, so everyone will get a 5-minute break or something. Let's plan for that, 5 or 6,
sure.
7-minute break. Yeah.
Yeah. So our tools here, aiming at faculty, at instructors. Um, as I said, one of the most popular ones is our multiple choice question. By the way, in AI Tutor Pro, I forgot to mention you can upload your own content here as well, and it can be a picture, for instance, and the questions can be based on the photo that you took. And as an example, you can snap it with your camera on if you're running this on your phone and have the conversation based on that. So we've got the same capability here. All these popped up effects of climate change on global ecosystems. You can actually upload a file as well and base the questions on the file that you've uploaded.
Ron, before you get too far into it, how big is your team of the designers working on this? People might want to know what kind of funding do they need to do something like this?
Well, there's just two of us working on it, and I'm not working full time. The other colleague, he's not actually full time. He's a full time employee, but not working full time on this, maybe 3/4 of his time. And then we have a development team of 2 or 3 developers.
And do you have
Yeah.
to know any particular computer languages or tools to get this going?
Well, actually, basically what I'm doing is prompt engineering, prompt design, and I'm even getting away from that now because I'm using AI to generate the prompts for me. So, so we talked about prompt engineering being a skill that's needed in the future, or maybe even right now, but less and less is that needed, to tell you the truth.
So
And
Amanda's jumped in. She's going to leave here in a second. Amanda, do you want to real quick jump in and make a statement before you have to run to your meeting?
Yeah, sorry, I have to run and host a webinar for my
oh,
employer, but it's just always really fascinating to me as we in my current industry are using AI, but there's a certain amount of quote unquote shame as the creator using it. So my particular chain of command doesn't want the audience to know we're using AI, but encourages us to use it. And then of course our corporate owner wants it to be super locked down so nobody else can quote unquote steal the voice that we've kind of established in our industry. So it's just a really fascinating concept of like, how do I use this tool? How do I maximize its use, which I'm being encouraged to
yeah,
use, but within the
yeah,
constraints of ethics and corporate constraints. And so to hear other industries use, it's just fascinating to draw on.
Yeah.
And Amanda, you're in the veterinary area, right?
I am. I work in veterinary
Wonderful.
medicine. I'm a specialist in anesthesia, but I work for a company that it's a very large corporate conglomerate that we have an online educational platform. And since this is recorded, I'm leaving that all very vague.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
and
don't blame.
it's a discussion we just had this morning on a corporate meeting, and the bigwig corporate doesn't enjoy that we're using an open AI. They would prefer us to, we had to change privacy settings. And I've been very reluctant to use it from a creative element. I do a lot of the scientific creative content, videos, educational
Well,
resources.
of course, you can change the settings so it's not used for training purposes. And by the way, none of our data is generated is used for training purposes, and any files you upload are not retained either. But uh, yeah, if
I
you,
don't know that a corporation is comfortable with that. It has to be, there's just a lot of,
yeah. Well, what
it's
you
a
need to
show me the
get
money world, and you have to be very
right,
careful. It's just
yeah,
fascinating.
you need a corporate an enterprise account where
Right.
it's all locked down for proprietary work like you're doing.
Yeah. So it's just
Okay.
really fascinating.
Yeah, it
And
is.
then, fighting the ethics, like I really feel strongly that if we use it to create the work, then we need to disclose its use. And
Sure.
my supervisors feel adamantly different. They don't want the end user to know that any of it's being used for actual creative work. But it's just a struggle of like, where do you
Yeah,
draw the line
yeah,
of
that's
what do you
right.
disclose that you're using? And
Yeah,
yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
all I can say to you, Amanda, is when you do a book review of my next book, be careful. It might not be my next book. If you know what I mean. No, I'm just kidding. I would never do that. I would never do that. Wing has a question. Thanks, Amanda. We have to go to Wing's question. It was asked 2 years ago. I know for sure. And Wing, you want to pose it? Ron's got a definite answer for you. She's coming from
Hi.
Singapore.
Yes.
Hi.
Yeah. I like this too. I think I can play all day and can even play with my kids. I have a
Absolutely.
question. Yeah, it's regarding I'm thinking whether this I can see it more structured compared to ChatGPT, but I'm wondering whether, from the designing point of view, you are the builder, developer. I mean, what is the main key difference compared to the ChatGPT?
Okay, say the ChatGPT learn mode, for instance. Do you mean that in particular or just ChatGPT generally?
Uh-huh.
Well,
Learn.
they, this is based on ChatGPT. Nothing that we're doing here cannot be produced with a prompt on ChatGPT. So that's the starting point. But then you might ask, what's the difference between our AI Tutor Pro and ChatGPT's study and learn mode, which they introduced last summer?
Mhm.
And the study and learn mode is like a Socratic tutor, very much like our Grow tool. I find it's very verbose. It still tries to present the user, the student, with too much information and doesn't get into the question and answer dialogue that you would expect. So, but and also Google Gemini has got the study and learn, and the other one Anthropic as well as they've got a study and learn mode as well now. They've all the major players now got the study and learn option. But this keeps a more controlled environment. It's not as distracting, where students are going to go off and do other stuff, or else just click another button and just get the answer rather than trying to learn it themselves.
Yep, thanks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have another question is about because I think this tool, the whole developing and improving. I wondered how because it's free, it's open to everyone. So how does sustain?
How does it sustained?
Yeah.
Well, if it's being used, if as long as it's been used, it's sustainable. We have government funding to
Okay.
in the budget to to operate it. As long as it's being used and well received, then it'll be funded. That's basically it. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I want to address the question that Rani
Yeah, I was
raised.
going to suggest that that would be a good
That's
one.
very true. I did say that because, look, the latest now is tools like Lovable, an app that allows you this. You'll see a study guide. This is a study guide I've developed here. Um, I'm going to put, and this will generate a study guide. And I did this, programmed this whole interface here. Using just text without having any specialized text. I just described what I wanted to do. This is what's called vibe coding. So what this has done for me now is produced a study guide on the topic of history of modern art, section 1, to an explanation. I've got links to diagrams and videos and so on throughout. Whoops, and it's all used with an app called Lovable, and I'll show you. Whoops, that's show you Lovable here. If I think I have it open elsewhere, I'm not sure where. Whoops, I'm not sure what happened there to my. I'm not sure what happened. I've got to close the tab here. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment here. Yeah. And
Well,
also,
yeah, the
I'm,
reason I asked that, I'm sorry,
yeah.
is that if prompting is not important in the future, I was wondering what are we going to teach the students? Because yeah, because when we teach the student how to ask questions, it can train their meta cognitive skills and the critical thinking skills. But what if prompting is not that important anymore? And for the children in the future, it is like it's getting lost as a teacher. Like, what are we going to teach them?
I'll leave that to you to figure out. But I can't because I can't answer that. What are we going to teach them? I'm going to go. I got my screen back here. I just had a bit of a problem. So here's the insides of Lovable. You saw this tool for generating a study guide, and here's what the tool. All you take to do here is tell it what you want. Okay, now I can say change. I don't need specialized language to black. And it's going to go off and do it. You can create a whole website just with ordinary everyday commands, and it's going to do that. And it's so now what I'm doing is I'm using this and also Google's AI Studio. Uh, this is called vibe coding, and you can create entire websites. And I'm doing this now and then turning it over to our developers. Say now here, um, make this into a fully workable version running on our server and so on. I'll say that, So anyway, so you can give these commands completely here through the prompt. And not by any specialized language. So even prompting is not necessary anymore. I'm gonna just gonna go back here, overview. Okay. Okay, let's see what it's gonna do here. Oh, I've reached my limit here, so that's why it was not displaying it. I won't top that up right now because my credit card is going to pop up here for you. So I won't do that.
We'll trust you. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, with the being recorded too. So anyway,
But this. I'm
but
sorry, go
the
ahead.
point is that you can use ordinary language, everyday language, and tell it to do what you want. Maybe I can go back to the very beginning. I said, okay, here's what I said. Make an app for faculty to create study guides for higher education students. It should allow so and so, give options, and then it produced it. And then I said, now I wanted it now. I asked it to enhance some things. I said, uh, now here are some features. Okay, still there. Okay, okay. Okay, and I noticed an issue wasn't working, and I asked it to analyze, fix that issue. And then I said, well, put in now video links and text links and so on, all by text. And there's no specialized prompting needed. So
But
quite
and Aaron's
remarkable.
saying, but ChatGPT was writing code for a long time without prompting.
Yeah, ChatGPT's been doing this for forever since, I
Yeah.
mean, not immediately. So I
So
think,
what you're getting,
are you saying that prompting for something like compare and contrast, if I said compare and contrast, two things. And then it just kind of just bleh, spews out pukes it out there. Versus if I say compare and contrast using a particular framework, then I get more of a directed return. So
yeah,
I wonder if there's a conflation in directing and prompting. So what you're doing is directing GPT
that's right.
to do
Yeah.
something versus prompting it to generate for you novel information.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but now okay, I'm going to show you what here, an example of voice prompt. Okay, so that the voice tool that you saw, the discuss tool. Okay, so here I'm having ChatGPT write the prompt for me. It's based on a prompt. This voice tool runs on a prompt. So what I did here, as I said, well, this is one stage along the way here. Here's a transcript now. Take a look at my transcript and see if it's following the commands properly. And well, I guess okay, yeah, here we are. Okay, level one. Okay, this short answer is mostly behaving as intended with two subtle but real deviations from what you've been trying to enforce. And here's the breakdown: what it's doing correctly, and then. By the way, the voice prompt is based on Vygotsky's ZPD, Zone of Proximal Development. So that was what I've been working on with that. Okay, so here, if you want to tighten the behavior, a hard constraint along the lines is after you state the correct answer, avoid meta opinions like, what do you think about that? Okay, and so I tell it, okay, go ahead and add those constraints. So what it's done is it's modified my prompt, and I'll paste it into our tool, and it'll run. So you see, I don't need any real specialized prompting skills anymore because it's doing it for me.
Thank you. That clarifies it. Yeah, so we
Yeah,
still need prompting, but instead we
but
can direct
yeah, we don't need the
GPT to
specialized.
create our prompt for us.
Yeah, yeah. So you do a new chat, and we say we want. Oops, we're coming to our time very quickly here. So new. Okay, you'll just say, write me a prompt to compare and contrast, whatever. So, and then it'll write the prompt for you, and then you can tell it, run the prompt, do a mock-up, run the prompt, or whatever. So, so it's really, it's come a long way. So in other words, I'm not really writing the prompts anymore. I'm really giving a general idea, and ChatGPT in this case is doing it for me.
So we've
Yes,
got a few
sorry, but
minutes left. We're going to go to break in a second, but you haven't,
Yeah,
sorry, Karen, you haven't shown us the second AI tool. You
yeah, I
want to at
know.
least
Yeah,
just spend
got
a
away
couple
from.
minutes showing us what the other tool is. Sorry,
Yeah,
Corinne, but we'll have a Q&A after break. So
yeah, yeah.
we'll pick up on
Teaching
you. And
assistant, we
Elaine
can.
too. Sorry, Elaine. We'll pick up
Yeah.
on your question after break
So
here.
what I really wanted to show you can generate multiple choice questions, essay, a complete syllabus with teaching notes with active learning suggestions. But what I really want to show you here is learning shorts, just very briefly. And these are synthesia, learning shorts, we call them. They're AI generated videos, and I have them at, that other browser that closed. So, uh, okay. So what these are is they're like you can produce.
Welcome to our exploration of the dot-com bubble, a pivotal event in
You can generate up to 3-minute videos explaining any topic by signing in, and but no, there's no charge for this. But this is, since we are paying for Synthesia, we limit the number of credits a person can get at any one time, so it's not abused. And I can I can give you an example of these learning shorts here, what they look like. What we've got a repository on YouTube of videos that people have produced. And I don't think I'm sharing sound right now, so I guess you won't hear it. So here's someone, which I should do. I should
Yeah,
do.
why don't you exit out? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, go back and share it with sound so you can actually. No, no, it was there still. Okay. So as an example, here's someone did a learning short on linear.
Welcome to our exploration of linear functions. Today, we'll unravel their significance in mathematics and real-world applications. Let's break down the elements that define and describe linear functions. Linear functions are equations that depict a straight line when graphed. They relate two variables with a constant rate of change. Each linear function is characterized by its slope and y-intercept.
So we're starting to upload them here, the various videos of what faculty have produced with their consent. Topics, what is risk management, as an example. And so these can be freely produced, and where they're really handy is, say, in your learning management system, your LMS, you can plug these in to introduce each weekly topic, say. It could be an AI overview of the key issues, and you have the opportunity to edit it before it's actually generated by Synthesia. So, okay, well, we've really run our time limit there.
Ron, did you want to mention like the lesson plan and the syllabus tool just to show us real quick what those
Yeah,
are?
absolutely. Yeah, sure. So what we can do here, I'll just take one that comes up, that's the climate change one. It can generate, say, okay, you're being told you've got to teach a new course next week.
And that happens.
That does happen. So here you do, you put in your course description, you generate the calendar copy, like the overview of the course, what it set your length, set the length of the course, and so on. And then next, you're going to generate your learning outcomes. It'll generate high-level learning outcomes, for analyzing, evaluating, and assessing, synthesizing, and so on. Generate those, and then you can then generate your syllabus, the course outline. So we got that. Generate outline. Okay, next. Well, I'm going to shorten that just to 3 topics for each week because I chose 12 weeks. So here's week 1, what you're going to cover, week 2, week 3, week 4, and so on, all the way up to week 12. You can even map the topics to the learning outcomes. So you know, it's like each topic that is covered, how well it's mapped, how well it's addressed. Like the first one, like climate change, introduction to climate change. Yeah, whoops, someone's got their mic needs to be muted there. Yeah. And so on. You do the mapping, you can generate teaching notes as well, generate teaching notes, and it will give, say, for week 2, yep, generate teaching notes and give some teaching notes, how you might introduce the topic, and again, giving links to video and text explanations. Here's an active learning suggestion of a group activity where students create a poster that illustrates the greenhouse effect, including sources of greenhouse gases and so on. So you can do that for each week. And then the last step is actually you can generate PowerPoint slides. Go to week 2 and generate PowerPoint slides. Right now it generates the text of the slides. And if you're not happy with them, you can just regenerate, of course, and then download a PowerPoint from it. So amazing tool. It does a lot of the work for you. But it does not. It's not meant to replace. That's the key thing. It's not meant to replace your thinking and your work. It's just to um, to really supplement it, to give you some thought about what you might include. It's also useful for an existing course. So Kurt, your course right now is learning environments. You can type in learning.
Learning environment design.
Okay. Someone needs to mute their mic. So you could generate that and get some ideas that you may or may not want to include in your course, and go through the process like this. And these are all build on each other. The outcomes relate to uh, the uh, the description at the beginning, and then of course the course outline relates to the previous part, and so on, historical principles, learning theory. So anyway, you can go through here and get some ideas maybe that might be of
So in effect, you got
yeah,
syllabus, lesson plans,
yeah,
tests, tests and measurements.
yeah,
Those are the three obvious ones, right?
that's right. Yeah, 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 yeah. And the learning shorts, of course, here.
And the
Yeah,
learning shorts, which
yeah,
we've added to my podcast show recently. We've added learning shorts from that. We'd ask questions now, but let's take a couple minute break and let
yeah, of
people
course.
get refresh their drinks and take a
Yeah,
bathroom break, and just come back in 2, 3, 4 minutes, and I'll introduce Ray, who's joined us. Thanks for joining us, Ray, from Illinois over in Central Time. So we have at least one person who's an hour behind us, and and Corinne, feel free to ask your question while all of us are going on break. If you don't mind, Ron, answering some questions
sure, I'd be happy to. Yeah.
Corinne.
Yeah.
And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stop the recording well, maybe, yeah, I'll stop the recording at this point, and then we'll start a new recording when I come back. So this is week 14, part 1, R622 Learning Environment Design signing